Alright guys, let's talk a little bit about off-season. Because as you've seen in the title of this video, my off-season is about to wrap up. And I think I have had a quite productive off-season. I enjoyed it, I made some gains, probably, I think that's the goal, right? And I'm now on to my health phase, which will last for another week. And after this week, we will probably drop down calories, push up the gear and go on cutting so we can start our next phase, which will be the cutting phase. Now to talk a little bit about off season, I have my timeline here which I will show up in the screen, and what you see is that we first ran a 5 week recovery phase after the show last year, and then we started our push up phase, which is the building season, which took us 25 weeks. And in those 25 weeks, you see I have 2 weeks of Italy in between, so we went on a vacation. It actually was a week or 10 days, but split into different weeks. So then the goal was to build up to 103. Now, we did not really get there, but that is not a big problem because we do want to get bigger, but we do not really want to get as fat as possible. And to chase a weight, to chase a scale weight, is setting yourself up for problems because scale weight is not really that important. If you see your scale weight go up a little, then it's fine, and then you're probably building. You don't need to put too much emphasis on that end goal weight because you do not really know where you're gonna end up. And if you're chasing a weight, especially on that scale, then you will probably get fat going towards that weight because you want to go there quickly. And when you get there, you realize that it is not muscle that you have built. Now, what we did then with the 25 weeks mark, we started our recovery phase, which actually was the start of my ski trip as well. So it was kind of a deload, kind of not really, because it was really intense still. So what you see here, we went from 90.4 up to 101.6 at the end of the push-up phase, which is around a 12.5 kilo difference over a period of 25 weeks. So 12.5 kilograms over a period of 25 weeks means that average out at around the 1.5 kg a week mark. And that's what I always aim to progress on for my enhanced client at least, and for myself, because when you're enhanced you can see bigger, greater gains in a shorter amount of time, but still do not push the scale as hard if it is not needed. And what I mean by that is if you're gaining 0.2, 0.3 for a couple of weeks, that's not an issue. As you see this timeline here with my weights after in the right, then you see that it is not a steady 0.5 kgs every week. It is sometimes 0.1, 0.2, sometimes 0.3 kilograms, but overall it averages out to 0.5. What you have to look up for when you are running your off season is always that your scale weight goes up a little, yes, but your shape and your body composition still stays positive. So you don't want to see you get week by week any much fat gain. If you see fat gain week by week basis, then you are definitely pushing too hard and you got to step it back a little. If you see weight gains from more than 0.5 kgs a week, then I'd also suggest looking a little bit for what happens the week after. If that still is that 0.5 gain the next week, really assess if the physique is not softening up too quickly. Yes, it can definitely happen that you gain weight over that 0.5 kgs a week, but really keep in mind that is not normal, and that is definitely need to be considered that fat gain is on the rise. So how do you set up your off season? Your off season should start with a very lean physique. If you are lean, if you are shredded from a competition or from a photo shoot, then you will see that you are much likely more able to build muscle than if you are halfway shredded. So why is that? When you are leaner, you can build for longer, so you have more time in a building phase. Because muscle building takes time, more time building muscle will result in a better gaining phase. Next to that, your insulin sensitivity will be much greater if you are depleted, if you are lean, and this will take you further than if you have to push up from a more fatty body fat percentage. So that, in combination with the time, with the duration, will make the biggest difference. So how do you go on from that? Well, you want to go and increase the calories that you are eating with around 250 calories every time. And what is the 250 calorie mark based on? It's based on someone like me of 100 kilos who can eat decently amount of food. If you have a female, for example, which weighs 60 kilograms, a 250 calorie increase will probably be too much, and you would rather look at a 150 to maximal 200 calorie increase. If you're looking at a, let's say, a 140 kilogram bodybuilder, then you will probably aim for more, an higher increase. It's also individual based, because some people respond better to higher increases and some people just do not even respond with higher increases. And they have to take their calorie increase even further than that. But that's dependent on that person. If you are a responder to calories, probably taking the safe route and getting less extra calories every time you increase is a better option for you. Now, what is very important when upping the calories is that you take those weekly check-in pictures. If you check out what your shape is doing every week, then you can see if you're getting fat or not. And if you see a week by week difference in how your shape looks, how much fat accrual you have on your body, then you are going too quickly. That's easy. Week by week, you should not really be able to see a big difference. If you look back then 3 to 4, maybe 5 weeks earlier, you do want to see a difference there. And if you're not seeing a difference there, then you're probably going too slow. So that's a nice gauge to hold yourself accountable to the pictures and to the scale weight as well. You do want to see the scale weight come up a little, but not too quickly. That's easy, trackable metrics that you are applying for yourself, which will fix your off season and make it successful. Now, do not force your body weight up. Forcing your body weight up will actually make you fat. You cannot eat on muscle. You can only train it on and you can recover it on, but you cannot eat it on. Eating more food does not equal more muscle gain. It actually results in more fat on your body. So keep it tight, keep it clean, and don't overfeed, because overfeeding is not working for no one. Now, when do you know it is time to pull back? That's easy, because if you are not able to get your food in anymore, if you have tried anything to push up the calories but you cannot eat it, you cannot get it away, then it's probably time to at least pull back for a couple of days, maybe for a week or 2 weeks, where you can then go on further to building. But it is simple. If you cannot eat your food, you cannot run through the off season. So digestion and appetite should be on point as the whole phase goes on. If you have difficulties eating, if you have problems digesting, then it's probably a good thing to take a small step back. Now, when it's time to end your off season is probably when you are getting a little bit too fat, or simply as the timeline suggests. And that's because when you see my timeline, when you saw my timeline in the beginning, it was a planned 25-week off season, which means my health phases are around that season. My gear escalations are around that season. And that is when the gear goes down. It is probably time to step back from that pushing phase again, to tidy things up, get back in a shredded shape, and then go on building for the next phase. But Always try and plan it out a little bit on advance. Make those timelines for yourself as well, because it makes a very clear pathway where you are going. And having a pathway where you are going will actually help you execute your off season. So another tip for the off season is set up that timeline. So this was a quick rundown of how I run my off season and how I would suggest you run your off season. If there are any questions or anything about the off season what you want to ask me, please feel free and leave a comment down below with your question, and I will answer it gladly for you. Also, if you like this video as well, and subscribe to my channel for more content, because I will be posting more and more content every week. So keep posted and stay in touch. Have a nice day, have a good off season, and we'll see each other in the next video.